My freshman year experience is probably the coolest time that I've had at college. What's up everyone, it is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. And because I've lived in the dorms my 4 years at college, I thought today would be a cool idea to talk about what living in a dorm in college is actually like. So if you're new here, hello, my name is Rachel. I'm currently a senior at UC Berkeley, double majoring in cognitive science and legal studies, graduating this spring. So yes, I've lived in a dorm my 4 years here at college, which is wild. So my freshman year, it was the stereotypical freshman experience living in a dorm. And then my sophomore, junior, and senior year, I was the resident assistant, also known as an RA, living in the dorms. So I've had both ends of the experience, the cool freshman year experience, which probably would be my most favorite year at college. That's the funnest year, that's the coolest year. Living with all of your friends, literally nothing can beat that. And then life just goes downhill after freshman year when everything gets hard and you're not living with your friends anymore, and then classes and you have to find a job and internships. No, freshman year was the funnest time. So I'm just going to talk about some things that you should expect when you are going to be living in a dorm. So the first thing is having roommates. Unless you're going to a college where somehow they have a bunch of single rooms available and you don't need to live with other people, chances are you're going to be living with at least one other person, but maybe even 2 or 3 other people. Yikes. And so this can be a huge transition for a lot of people. For me, I've never really lived with another person having to share a space for an extended period of time. So that's always, I think, one of the biggest changes for students coming from high school going into college is that they've never lived with another person. They don't know how to share. They don't know how to work with a living situation with another human being. And then put on top of that 2 or 3 other human beings that you have to talk with, live with, set your schedules around can be very, very difficult. So unless your college isn't in a housing crisis and trying to get a lot of money and save space and just cram as many students into these tiny rooms as possible, then chances are you will be sharing a room. And so for me, my freshman year, I lived in a triple, so that is me and then 2 other girls that I was living with. The room setup, we had 1 bunk bed and then 1 lofted bed over 2 of the desks that came with the room. We were literally in a transformed laundry room for our room. So this room that we were living in used to be a laundry room, and then because the university was running out of room spaces, they started converting lounges and laundry rooms and stuff like that. So there's that. And so you're living in a tiny space with other human beings. At the beginning of the school year, will probably make you do a roommate agreement. I definitely recommend filling this out because it is very, very helpful and will help to prevent conflicts in the future. You will have to agree on and talk about different topics like when do we have to turn the lights off, or when are guests allowed in the space. Those are very, very useful questions to answer. Little things like when do we turn the lights on and off, or when do we open the windows or keep the windows closed, can cause so many problems. Seeing it from the other end as an RA, these little things boil up and become larger issues that eventually make people move out of their rooms because they cannot stand their roommate doing these things, which is why the roommate agreement is so freaking important. Like, I've literally had residents move out because they were fighting over who gets what bed in the room, and then they had their friendship ruined over not being able to decide who gets the bed closest to the window or not. And so one of the girls moved out. I was like, oh, bye. So you could have really cool roommates or roommates that you just necessarily don't mesh well with, and that's totally okay. For me, I was never super close with my freshman year roommates. I have not talked to them since. Like, nothing wrong with us as a trio. We just didn't have much in common, and that's totally fine. I feel like a stereotype for college roommates is that you need to be BFFs with your freshman year roommates. You need to have a whole theme for your dorm and color coordinate with one another. It's totally okay if you're not friends with them. I think that is a huge stereotype. I'm like, we were cordial. We didn't have roommate problems, and so it was great. We said hi, how are you doing, how's your day? If you don't become super close with them, then it's easier to just have a roommate relationship, and that's it. So that's some on what you should expect when living in a dorm in regards to roommates. Next, we are going to be talking about noise. I feel like noise is another really big thing that students have to get used to because like when I go to sleep at my house, it is nice and quiet all the way until the morning time. In your college dorm, people are literally freaking screaming at all freaking hours of the night. Kids would be coming home literally at 2 a.m. intoxicated, screaming in the hallway, and I'm like, can you be quiet? People are trying to sleep or study. And then to be woken up by screaming people in the hallway, I was like, nay, not today. Freshman year, I lived on an all-female floor, so I feel like it was a little bit quieter. My freshman year, I don't feel like I was awoken that much by super loud people in the hallways, but we did live right next to the bathroom, and so we could hear people talking in the bathroom if they were being really, really loud, and so that was sort of annoying. You will not sometimes have a nice peaceful sleep because there are screaming people in the hallway, people in the lounges that are being super loud, or on the other hand, you could have a roommate that snores. And so I guess some ways around the snoring would be to buy some earplugs. I've even invested in earplugs because I'm a light sleeper and I can literally in my apartment now in the dorm, I can hear people in the kitchen doing stuff when I'm trying to sleep. So I just put in earplugs and it works for the most part. I still get a little bit stressed out because the snoring might not always be something that the roommate can fix with their sleeping, so you have to compromise a little and give some and take some, so that is a good tactic. Also, with the noise in the mornings, if you and your roommates have different wake up times or bedtimes. By freshman year, my roommate woke up at like 7:30 every single day because she had 5 days straight of 8 a.m.s. I don't know why you would ever sign up for 8 a.m.s in college. Those are literally the bane of my existence. So she would always get up a few hours before me and my other roommate would wake up. And so thankfully she was super considerate and super quiet when she was waking up and like doing her hair and getting dressed and stuff like that. But I've also as an RA had roommate conflicts where their roommate would be so inconsiderately loud either in the morning or going to sleep. And so living in a dorm as well, you will also have lounges on your floor. This one sort of goes with the next comment, and so lounges, it's a super great way to get to know your floor mates, roommates, people on different floors in your building. Definitely hang out in them, you know, at the beginning of the semester, because I remember at the beginning of my freshman year, everyone would be hanging out in the lounge. That's where we got to know everyone else on the floor, and so it was super cool, like playing board games at night or just sitting and talking and playing other kinds of games, and getting to know people from way across the world or from different walks of life is probably the coolest thing in the world. Hearing other people's stories, especially coming after high school where you've probably been going to the same school with these people since elementary school. Even if you're not super social, try to make an effort those first few weeks before everyone sort of falls into their own routine. They have their own friends already, but those first few weeks is where you can really make a lot of friends and then have a group set for the rest of the year. So the next thing is shenanigans. And so shenanigans are literally the reason why I loved freshman year so much, because you're living next door or on a different floor from all of your bestest friends in college so far. It's like a fun party all of the freaking time, which is super cool. Since everyone is living so close to one another, you are never without someone that you can just hit up and be like, yo, you want to go get food right now at 1 a.m? Or like, yo, let's go to the library and study, or let's go hang out. And so that was probably the coolest thing after becoming an RA and not living with all of my freshman year friends anymore. As a freshman, I could just walk outside, go downstairs, and hang out with people. But now, as I'm getting older, you literally have to text a week in advance to try to get lunch with someone, which is so difficult because everyone is so busy and then you just never see your friends anymore. For me, I literally see my friends maybe once, twice, if they're close friends, 5 or 6 times a semester only, versus freshman year, you would literally see them every day, and that's something that I really miss. My freshman year experience is probably the coolest time that I've had at college because it's just so different from high school. You have freedom and you get to hang out with people 24/7, which is just super cool. So going off of that, because you have all of your friends surrounding you all the time, that might make it difficult to study. So time management is key because people are always down to hang out and do stuff. You really need to know and plan out your schedule. Like, yo, I have a test after this weekend. I should not be hanging out in the lounge till 3 a.m. every single night because I need to get my sleep and I need to study for the test. So you really have to balance hanging out with the people in your dorm and leaving your room and not studying in your room and going to the library to study. For me, I can never really study in my room unless it's super quiet, but even then you have the distractions. So I would definitely recommend trying to find a quiet place to study, either somewhere else in the dorm or on campus at a library or something. I like to separate my home life and my school life, so when I know I go back to my dorm, I can chill, watch Netflix, relax, versus when I'm on campus and I'm going to study, I know this is my study time. I cannot joke around because I need to focus and get all of my tasks done. So being good at time management and self-control and knowing when you can go out and hang out with friends versus when you need to be studying is such a skill that I feel like people have to learn going into freshman year. So next, in your dorm, you probably have communal bathrooms, either split up by gender or they're all gender. At Berkeley, they're all gender restrooms. But like I said, I was on an all female identifying floor my freshman year, so we actually had an all girls bathroom kind of thing. So really depends on where you're living, what your bathroom situation is going to be. I have a surviving communal bathrooms video on this channel as well, which I'll have linked down below. You should check that out. And that has more tips for surviving the communal bathroom. So I'm not going to talk about it a lot in this dorm video, but just keep that on your radar for after this video. And then finally, I'm going to be talking about RA events. I don't know why people don't show up to these, because literally the RAs have a set budget to spend on you. So it hurts your RA's feelings if you never come to the events. 2, you should really go to these events because it's literally free stuff. You can get free food, free boba, free cookies, stuff like that. If you can, as a freshman, please go. It's also a great way to get to know your neighbors and other people in the building and get to know some cool people too and just hang out and chill. That's a plug for me, but also all the other RAs out there. Go to their events because we do put a lot of time into it, and then it's just such a sad bummer when no one shows up. So yes, this was some of the things that you should be expecting if you're going to live in a dorm at college. Hopefully what I've talked about is helpful or eye-opening for you all planning to go to college and live in university housing. If you have any other video ideas that you want to see me do, definitely leave a comment down below. But yes, thank you all so much for watching. It really means a lot. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.